And here we go. Welcome back to episode 9 with UnHammered. Your host, Brantt Myhres. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm doing not too bad. Not too bad, actually. Episode 9. I was away last week and had a pretty amazing trip that I went on, which I'll chat a little bit about. Went down to Idaho and loaded up my Harley Davidson. And drove 10 hours to get there to do some filming for a project that I've been thinking about for a while, actually, and it's been in motion, as of late. So I went down there, hired a film company, Action Sports Media. Shout out to those guys; they did an amazing job, and obviously Sheldon was very accommodating. Long day, man. We started shooting at, I think it was 7:15 a.m. And then we wrapped it up at 9:50 p.m. with a few hours of break in there. But anyways, it was a great trip, and I'm glad that we've got that footage now that we can use for the project, which I'm hoping to share with you guys real soon, actually. As always, how many of you have stayed unhammered the last week? Week 9, I have. So I have been, since the show started 9 weeks ago, made a commitment, and, it's been 9 weeks, and hopefully you guys have committed as well. That's why we're here. We're out, we're trying to be accountable to each other and stay unhammered, 1 week at a time. So that's great. I'd like to talk about, for me, the Serenity Prayer and how important. Actually, it's just the feeling that I get when I say it at meetings. And for those of you that aren't new to recovery or Alcoholics Anonymous, it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So there's courage in there. There's wisdom. It's a pretty powerful prayer that I'd like to, try to start saying more often. The wisdom to know the difference. That's the big one for me. My will versus God's will, or my will versus whatever will I tend to call stronger than myself, but again, it's God for me. So my will against God's, and I struggle with that. Being human, I think we all struggle with it. What do we hold on to in life, and what do we let go? And I'm currently dealing with a situation right now with a family member that's been really tough. The courage to understand which way to go on this. And I won't get too far into it, other than it's been very, very stressful for me. And I'm a single father, and we'll chat about that in the remaining minutes of the show as we keep going. But I'd also like to read a couple cool things. So, a gentleman named Ryan Davis wrote in. He told me that he chaired an AA meeting, he prayed, he meditated, and he connected with sober friends. That's awesome. And Ryan also has 18 months of sobriety, so congrats, Ryan, to you. That's awesome. Another gentleman wrote in and had some really nice things to say about the show. His name is Ted Bird, and congrats on Ted for 27 years of sobriety. Wow, that's a lot of 1 days at a time and a lot of 1 weeks at a time. So anyways, the trip to Idaho, it was great, but again, dealing with some family stuff, I was having to come back early, and I think I'm just overwhelmed. I think I'm overwhelmed with being the age that I am, and having a little boy who's 3.5 years old. Pretty much I'm taking care of him at the moment full time, and I wish his mother nothing but hope and recovery. But in the meantime, I'm a single father here trying to make it work. And everybody has passed on in my life from, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad. And sometimes you just feel alone, and loneliness is a tough one for me. But I'll tell you, God gives you little nuggets along the way. And it's just when you need it, And my son is that hope, and my son has given me something that I never dreamt of. I really didn't. He's just my best little cool buddy, and I love him to death. And we laugh and we have fun, and I'm there to take care of little Kaner. And so I didn't know that that's how my heart was going to open up for this guy. As I've reiterated, hopefully I said that right. I didn't fuck that up. Reiterated that. As long as I try to stay presently sober and healthy, and put other people ahead of me, and this is, don't get me wrong, this, as I talked to a friend today, my friend Josh, it's quite an undertaking to raise a child of this age, but that's all good, because guess what? Somebody did it for me when I was 5. So I'm looking at it as a day at a time, and just trying to wrap my head around it. But anyways, the trip to Idaho was awesome, and I came back to the fires in Edmonton with the smoke. Another question from the audience: how are you going to handle and maintain a sense of privacy regarding? I guess it would be regarding the stuff that I chat about, or on the internet and all that stuff. I think privacy went out the window when I wrote Painkiller. Really it did. I don't, wasn't a lot in there from my point of view that I kept private. So at that point, the whole privacy thing, and then, starting the show, I approached the show how I approached the book. Same thing, wide open. You get what you get. And I don't feel the need to. Another question from Phil M. wrote in and said, Brantt, how did you bounce back financially? Ooh, this is a coffee sip question. Hold on, everyone. A little bigger swallow than others. That's fine. You guys won't judge me on that, will you? There's no alcohol in here. How did I bounce back financially? Great question. So Jesus. I was 34 years old, I believe. 34. And at that time, I had, I think it was 200 and some bucks left in the bank. My credit was horrible, and the only way that I could think that I would ever be able to have a visa again, or get approved for a car or anything like that, was I was going to either do two things. I was going to win the lottery, or I was going to go put on that ski mask and walk into a bank, because it wasn't feasible for me. I had grade 9 education. I couldn't see a way out. Then there was a third option, which was to stay sober one day at a time. And I knew that if I stayed sober one day at a time, that these fears that I had in my mind would eventually, I wouldn't say they'd get erased, but they'd get addressed. And that's what I did Phil. I went to 365 meetings in a year, so one a day. And I continued to do that. And I continued to get on my knees and have faith that my life was going to change. And it took a while. I worked at a golf course, booking tee times in Riverbend in Red Deer, Alberta, making $16 an hour. Scared as shit if somebody was going to come around the corner and see me booking tee times at a till at 35 years old. But I had to chop that fucking ego down because it was telling me that I didn't belong behind the counter. I needed to be the one walking up to the counter and booking that tea time. So I did that. And then about 2.5 years into it, I was working on some type of a plan for Aboriginal, Indigenous hockey camp. And in Calgary, and a guy named Ryan Robb called me, sent me an email and said, get to Calgary. And from that moment on, so that would have been 2011, I believe, my life changed. My life changed. I went to the bank, told a guy, hey, my credit's absolutely horrible, but is there any way you can help me get a visa? His name was Corey. I remember this guy's name because I was so nervous going in there. I knew I needed to start building my credit. His name was Corey. And Corey called me the next day and said, Brantt, I had to pull a few strings for you, but I got you approved for a $5,000 limit. I couldn't believe it. I almost fell off my fucking chair. So there it was. There was the visa, the approval. And then I started making some money and with the Greater Strides Hockey Academy, and I saved every penny. I literally did not want to go back into the financial hell that I was in. So I would take most of my paycheck and just put it in the bank, pay the bills that I had to. And what do you know? Your bank account starts to build when you're not fucking blowing it on hookers and coke. It starts to add up. And it did. So then all of a sudden in 2013, maybe 14, I applied for a mortgage for a home and I got approved. And I had a $20,000 down payment. Things were starting to change for me quickly, but everyone, what you have to realize is this doesn't happen overnight. If you think you're going to get sober and all these things are going to start just coming, don't have any expectations. The only expectation you should have is that you're going to do something for your recovery today. Don't worry about money. God will take care of that for you. But you gotta keep your side of the street clean. That's a guarantee. Or none of this shit happens for me. So I got approved for a home, and then I got approved for a car. So there I was sitting in 2014, with in a home and a car in the driveway again and a visa, and my credit was good again, and I just rebuilt my life, man. Fucking sobriety is amazing. It's unreal. The gifts I've been given and the lessons that I've had to learn along the way too in sobriety. So financially, that's what happened, Phil, to me. And I'm sure there's other people that have questions about, well, I'm a year sober, or I'm a year and a half sober. Where's mine? I fucking had that thought too. I called my buddy in LA. I'm like, fuck me. I'm like, I'm 2 years in, man. And I just feel like it's never going to happen for me. I'm going to be the guy that is just struggling all the time. He just said, don't worry about what your head says. Just go to a meeting. I'm like, fuck you. He was right. He was right. Go to a meeting, phone somebody, help somebody. Don't worry about it. It'll work out. And it has. Not to say, hey, listen, here's the other thing too. You got to be ready to fucking rock and roll if you lose everything and stay on the path. And I learned that through my relapse back 2.5 years ago. I learned that no matter what, you stay sober. So money, no money, doesn't matter. You have to live and breathe this thing because it's as serious as a heart attack, and it'll kill you, as it does every day. Sorry, one more sip. So that's how I bounce back, Phil. Thanks for that deadly question. We chatted about that blue book the other day, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we're going to read it again. We might read it every week. I don't know, probably. And here's a chapter that I really like, and I'll give you a backstory, you guys. In 2008, when I went into Astoria Point to my rehab, to my final treatment center, maybe it was like 2 weeks in, they gave us some paint and like this, whatever. I'm not a painter. I'm not a drawer. I can't even draw a stick man. But they said, draw something that means something to you in your recovery, that you have hope for. So what I did, and I have a picture of it. I'll try and print it out. It's not very big, but everybody did their own thing. What I did is I took some black paint and I put it on this, whatever those things are called. And then I took some white paint and I wrote, "The Promises, 2008, Brantt." Because when I read these, this is what I wanted. I wanted the promises. And here they are. Page 83. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. I get choked up reading this because I just do every time. It's so powerful. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. Isn't that the truth? We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. I can attest to that. Peace for me was the number one thing that I was searching for. This is a big one for me. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. Man, is that the truth? As of what I'm going through currently, it's baffling. Here's the big one. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Man, I can't say that without getting choked up. That's the promises of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I will tell you that they have come true. I have not done my part and been perfect at this program. But I've given it everything that I've had, taken a step back. But I've really tried my hardest to make Brantt Myhres a better human and more loving person to be around. So the promises. Love that one. I think, when we talk about insanity, the insanity of the disease and how we do things that we normally wouldn't do sober. Excuse me. There's so many stories in that book behind me that we're going to chat about because they're just fucking insane. To me, when I read it now, I'm like, no way I did that. But I did. I did it. And I'm alive. I'm actually alive to talk about this stuff to you guys. So I'm going to talk about it. And we'll talk about maybe one Brantt Myhres dumb, insane, drunk situation. So I can remind myself and can just tell you guys what the disease does to you, how it alters the mind. This story is, we'll talk about the Westin Hotel story in Edmonton. So I think I was trying to get reinstated after my third suspension. Yeah. So that was a 6-monther. And I was living in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, on that house by the lake there. And I was doing well. I was sober and I was going to meetings and couldn't wait to get reinstated back into the National Hockey League. It was a long time. And finally, Dan Cronin called me from the league and he said, "Hey, Brantt," he's like, "the doctors think you're ready to go back, but they need to have a meeting with you just to make sure to reinstate you for stage 3. I said, "Oh, great. Awesome. Who's coming in?" "Dr. Dave." "Okay. Where's Dave staying tonight?" "Well, Dave's staying at the Westin downtown Edmonton." I said, "Great. Okay, cool. I'll tell him I'll see him there, whatever day it was," but it was 9 a.m. at the hotel. "Okay, thanks, Dan." I'm all pumped up. So my head says to me, "Well, you know what? Fuck, that's an hour and a half drive down to Edmonton, Myhres. Why don't you just go to get a hotel in Edmonton? And why not get a hotel at the Westin? Because, hey, the meeting's there. Yeah, you'll just be maybe on a different floor. Get up, get ready. Big meeting for you, buddy. You're getting reinstated, or you're not." So I get in my car and I drive all the way to Edmonton and I get a hotel room at the Westin, 1 floor below Dave. And as I'm sitting there, this vision, now that I think about it, reminds me of that movie Flight with Denzel Washington. And those of you who've seen that powerful movie will understand what I'm talking about the minibar. And it happened to me. I'm sitting there and I'm laying on the bed and I see the minibar. But now it's about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night maybe. And I've got a meeting at 9 with the NHL doctor to get reinstated back into the league. Been sober a while. And I thought, wonder what's in there. So I go over, open up the minibar. And boy, did it shine. Every bottle shined. And I thought, nah, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. And I shut it. I went back on my bed. I thought, well, no cocaine. Just no coke. No coke. 1 Jack and Coke. But no cocaine. That sounds reasonable. You'll be in bed by like 11. So what do? Call a buddy. Meet me over there. First initial D, last initial H. DH, get over here, bud. So he gets over there. So the 1 Jack and Coke or 1 beer from that minibar turned into it being 8 o'clock in the morning. We have a couple girls over in the room. I'm in the bathroom with one of them chopping lines up still. And Danny runs in and he goes, "What the fuck, Myhres?" He says, "Don't you have a meeting with the NHL doctors to get reinstated?" I said, "Yeah, I do. Yeah. Oh, yeah, fuck, I do." I go, "It's right away." I go, "It's all good, man. I'll get in the shower. I'll wash my neck with some Ivory, some mouthwash. Buddy, I'm going to be all good." He goes, "Don't go." He goes, "You fucking look wrecked." He's like, "Myhres, your teeth are chattering and you're sweating." I said, "Danny, I got to go." I said, "I think I'm going to be okay." So I had the shower, put the soap and gargled with the mouthwash and I hit the elevator button. Do a line of Coke before I leave and go knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Dr. Dave answers the door. "Hey, Brantt, how you doing?" "Not bad, Dave." "You want a coffee?" I'm thinking to myself, do I want a coffee? If you only knew how fucking fast my heart's racing, but nah, I'm good. Got any water? "Sure, come sit down." So I go and sit down in the chair and oh my God, I did it. Somehow I did it. I sat there and grinded it out, and I wasn't saying too many words to Dave other than I'm grateful to have this opportunity, to be sober all these months. And Wow, looking back at it. So I get back in the car. I don't know how I made it back to Sylvan Lake. I was so fucking wasted. But I made it back, and lo and behold, I get a call from Dan Cronin telling me that the meeting went as planned, and they reinstated me for stage 3. I was able to play again, and man, oh man, I think about that one, just how I was putting it all on the line again with my addiction. Didn't matter. Fuck, I was gonna make $650,000, right? Play in front of 20,000 people a night. Fly on private planes. Didn't matter. This disease doesn't care like who signs your paychecks. Remember that. It doesn't care about that. It doesn't care what your fucking zip code is, where you live, what your postal code is, if you're in Canada or around the world, whatever that may be. It don't care. Doesn't care what color your skin is, and doesn't care what you got hanging on the wall for your education. It'll take you down. Takes down the best. Takes down pilots, lawyers, doctors, politicians, musicians, all of them. Takes them down. That's just the crazy thing about it, you know. I was able to sit with these people and go, wow, you went to university for whatever 4, 5, 6 years, and you got and you can come from a good family. Yep, you can come from a good family, a great fucking family that gave you everything, every opportunity in life. You can come from that too, or you can come from a shithole, trailer park, drug addicted parents. If you got it, you got it. And that's the thing. Somebody just said, Brantt, you were infected with the bug and you got it. There's other things you didn't get, like I'm obviously 50 years old and I'm still talking. So there's a lot of things, that I didn't get, but I got this thing. And it's a daily thing, like we all know here who have been bitten with the bug. You get it. Not every day is a struggle. And for me, definitely it's not. I have way more grateful or, ingratitude than a struggle. But hey, I do struggle. And my head sometimes says that I'm no good. And that I don't deserve some of the good things that have come my way. It tells me that, it talks, but I'm able to go, yeah, cool, Brantt. Oh yeah, that's how you're feeling today. That's what you're thinking about. Okay, cool. And then I'll just call somebody, talk to them. Maybe, do a gratitude list. Boy, those are great. If you guys ever do those gratitude lists, I write in a journal, and I always end it with "Thank you, God, for everything," and very grateful. Even though I'm bitching right now, I'm grateful. And if I can do that, you guys, I can stay UnHammered another week with all of you, and I really hope so, because some of these interactions I'm getting with you guys now on social media is really cool. These messages are pretty awesome. One guy says, man, this is sort of came along at a really good time, and it saved my life. And I don't take credit for that. I don't take credit for my sobriety. God works through me into other people. And that one really hit home. I've never really heard somebody say I've saved their life. And what comes with that statement is, I wouldn't say pressure. I think happiness. Maybe I was able to make a difference for somebody during that day or that moment, and that was really cool. Or people that have read the book that are still reaching out a few years later. So anyways, you guys, I've got a little guy to pick up here at some point from daycare, and we're gonna do daddy and son stuff today, and then I'm gonna give him a bath and brush his hair and tell him I love him. Tell him I love him. And man, I don't know why I'm emotional today, but it is what it is. Anyways, hope you guys all have an awesome week. Wipe the tears away. And yeah, I think I'm just grateful to be in a position to be a good dad today. So we will see you guys in 7 days. Let's keep each other accountable, and let's all stay unhammered another week. Awesome. You guys take care. Thanks. When it all goes slipping away, when it all keeps slipping away,